Hey, I work in Gulf and I took a leap of faith. I invested 350,000 on dairy farming. And guess how much I'm getting at the end of the month? I'm actually, or rather daily, not a month actually, I'm getting 2,500 each and every day. Guess what? This is that good news that I'm always here to share with you. This is a call that I received from a client. Actually, it's a client that I wrote a business plan pertaining this information. And the guy did execute this idea. It was way back in last year. And where he is right now is actually reaping big out of this kind of an investments. Now, you see, now this is kind of the good news that I always come here and share with you and how you can go ahead and start an investment out there. Yeah, I remember last time I made a video and told you guys, if you do not have somebody whom you can trust back at home where you can be able to channel your money in terms of the investment, then don't go ahead and do this. Be able to go ahead and invest in areas like the treasury bills, treasury bonds, things like the shares, that the stock. You can invest in areas like the bond fund. You can invest in areas like, money market fund and what have you, or even in circles. All right. So if you don't want to bother anybody, and if you don't want to bring somebody on board and include the word called trust, which is quite horrible when it comes to businesses. But guys, this is quite understanding, or let's say a unique, issue that individual had somebody whom they can. Let's talk again about trust, and they invested this amount of money and he is getting quite a good amount of money at the end of the day. All right, now this is how this exactly did. See, this guy went air and bought something called heifer. Do you know heifer? Heifer. He bought heifers. How many of them? Four in number. I had 70,000. He bought heifers at 70,000 for a number. And these heifers are actually giving him at around 10 liters of milk, or 15 or 13, in between 10 and 15 liters of milk around there. And this guy is actually be able to rake in 2,500 each and every day. Right, 2,500 rather each and every day. At this particular point, this individual is making close to, actually is more than 70 G's, 70K at the end of the month. So if you can decide this and say, hey, out of this 70K that I'm getting at the end of the month, even if I get half of this, meaning out of the 70,000 that I have, or I'm getting at the end of the month, all right, out of this 70,000 that I'm getting at the end of the month, even if I divide it by 2, meaning why am I dividing it by 2? Hey, you can even decide to take a whole chunk of it, 35,000, towards catering for these animals. Remember one thing, you're outside the country, you need to pay somebody, and obviously pay them good. And again, they also need to get some dairy meal, dairy nini, all those kind of things, the upkeep of these cows and what have you. Then it means that you need to actually scoop away. It's different if you are at home. Probably this amount of money could be a little bit less, but let's just take it at 35,000. 35,000 is what you're getting clean cash. This is the money that is being channeled towards your bank, at the end of the month. This is quite a good amount of money, because you can just imagine you only need at least 10 months. Multiply this by 10 months to actually do what? You only need 10 months to actually do what we call break even. To break even is to actually bring back, or actually recoup back, the money that you did invest towards this specific project. But obviously there's some factors that you have to consider here. There was a waiting time. Obviously a heifer is, you cannot milk a heifer. Obviously, if you know what a heifer is, it's like a young lady of a cow. All right, so you have to take care of this young lady of a cow. Obviously it needs you having some money to do exactly that until the young lady of a cow gives birth. And the advantage of that is that this young lady of a cow gives a birth, then becomes a mother, now what is known as a cow. Then that calf, you can actually decide to keep that calf, or you can decide to actually sell out there. The guy did not manage to keep all the 4 calves because, hey, he was at a cash crunch. So he decided to liquidate 2 of them to at least get some cash to cater for these young mothers that we have, so that at least he can get maximum out of them. But you can decide to keep the 4 cows, and you can, or rather calves, and later you can sell them. This is quite a project that can actually make you some cash if you are out there and you have somebody who can function as your eye into this. I know an individual who is exactly doing this kind of a thing. Again, not even this case, another case, as somebody who is actually in UK and he's making a lot of G's out of this kind of a business. So if you do simple mathematics, 4 times 70, this guy dedicated 280,000, and then after that there was a remaining of 70,000. He came up with the structure of catering for these animals. And the good thing is that the guy had a land at disposal, and there was some other existence of other animals from the parents. But you see, parents weren't doing this kind of a business in agribusiness way. They were just doing it as we call it the subsistence farming, something of sort. So the guy took it to a notch higher to actually invest this amount of money towards doing exactly this. Now guys, The reason why I've decided to share this information is this. If there is some areas that where people are likely to make money in the future, not only in our country but globally, is the area of agriculture. That's very true. The area of agriculture, it's an area that a lot of people tend to ignore it, but this is an area that can actually make you a very good amount of money. Right now, as we speak, a liter of milk actually at a retail goes for 70 shillings. Some areas goes for 70 shillings. And if you're selling this milk to the companies, they can get it at 55 Kenyan shillings, at 50, depends on where you come from. So it tells you this is an area, if you can put your money into, then you can be able to make a very good amount of money. But now the question, the big question is this. If you have somebody, maybe you say you're outside the country, or maybe you're within the country, you can look at this area. Another way that you can actually make money is what we call animal fattening. There's something called animal fattening. I actually decided to share these ideas and combine these videos together so that at least you can get what I'm saying. Number one, there's something that called, the meat industry in our country. It's actually growing very high, at a very high rate, meat industry. And this meat industry, actually, they need what? Fresh animals at each and every time. For example, if you go to KMC, okay, KMC, that's Kenya Meat Commission, they actually get a lot of cows or animals, bulls or whatever you call them, the goats and what have you, from the farmers. And since it was taken by the military, well, obviously under the consent of the president, the consent of the leadership of the country, this body is actually functioning at a very good way. Now, I do have a friend who is actually doing the animal fattening from the Machakos area. What you do is that you find that you buy these animals when they are not in so good shape, obviously, from the farmers who have a lot of them, but they cannot manage to take care of them. And then you get yourself a piece of land somewhere. I actually shared this idea before, but let me, for the purposes of you getting it, maybe you never heard it, let me go ahead and repeat it. So you go and you lend a land. You don't have to buy, like you can just go ahead and land. Lease, rather, that's the point. You lease a land. And you do have a land at your disposal, you can go ahead and do this. Now, what they do is that you get these animals at, obviously, I don't want to say at a throwaway price. I mean, like, hey, you can go visit these farmers from the interior of the country. Right, likes of the Marigat, likes of the Marala, likes of the Mugutio, likes of like Hipia, Ukondani, and what have you. Those are the areas that you're likely to get these animals. Northeastern, you can as well get these animals. All right. Now, you get these animals. Obviously, you get them at quite a good price. You take them to your land. All what you need to do is kind of fence temporarily, or maybe you don't even have to fence. You can just employ somebody who will be taking care of these animals. And then what you do is that obviously you give them that what is required. You give them vitamin. You actually do what we call, you give them, there's this, should I call it in the local language, salt? You know, they leak in the, you see, these animals, when they are in bulk there, they cannot afford to get these things. It's like having a lot of kids whom you cannot give them the quality of life. So once you give them this salt to leak, allow me to use that very local language. I actually do not have that actual name, the salt to leak and what have you. You give them plenty of water. You actually give them the vitamin. You actually deworm these animals. You literally take care of them. You only need to do so for, let's say, at least 3 months. Right, because obviously you didn't get like a small kid, like a small animal. You actually got, should I call it an adult? But what you did there was not good in good shape. So you take care for them, take care of them at least for 3 months. And the budget on this particular point, you find this animal or this kind of an individual usually dedicate like 5,000 for each animal for a period of 3 months. Therefore, it's 15,000. So if you bought this animal, let's say you bought this cow at around 25,000. All right, 25,000, and then plus 15,000, a total goes for now 40,000 in that period of 3 months. Then after that, this animal can fetch you up of 60,000 and above. Can fetch you up to 60,000 and above. So you've made yourself, this is net profit. Net profit, you've net yourself 20 G's. All right, and guess what? Out of these 20 G's, out of these 5,000 that you're giving, also the employee is also getting that money from that 5,000 that you're dedicating for this animal each and every month. Say you have like 10 animals. 10 animals, it means that you have 50,000 somewhere. So out of this 50,000 somewhere, or you obviously pay this guy out of the amount of money. So these 20 G's that you're getting at the end of the month, this is money that goes back to your pocket. Simple. And guess what? This kind of an venture, you can actually go ahead and do something that is called, you can go ahead and start your own trauma zone. You can decide to start your own butchery. It's that kind of a business, such that you're actually complementing your business. So now this animal that you have actually managed to raise this animal at 40,000. Now what do? You can actually decide to slaughter this animal by yourself and actually sell it from a meat center, from your own business. Now you take the 40,000 and now sell it to your business. Okay, if this 40,000, if you sell it at a retail, if you can afford to sell at a wholesale to people who will gonna sell it to retail at 60,000, maybe probably these guys are also making like, let's say, 15,000 out of it. So you can shift all the way from 40,000 to apps of 75,000. Right? Guess what happens? You have yourself how many? You have yourself like 35,000, close to double the price of this cow. Now, well, obviously you may not be able to liquidate all this in a short period of time, but you cannot also to consume, you cannot be able to manage to consume all these animals by yourself, but you can be able to actually scoop or get a good profit out of these animals. That is exactly how we do it. That is exactly how we make some cash. That is exactly how you grow yourself. All right. Now, that is the point. Now, now this is the thing, all right? This kind of an investment does not require like quite a heavy attention for you to do exactly this. All what you need to do, you lease a land somewhere. If you're outside the country and you have some cash with you, you lease a land somewhere, and then you buy these animals, employ somebody who can be taking care of your animals, and then obviously you can decide to be selling to the Kenya Meat Commission. You can decide to start your own venture somewhere where you can be the consumer of your products. Well, you may not be able to consume all what you produce. You can as well sell to other fellow guys who are doing the same business as you. That's how you do it, and that's how you move to the next level. So this guy got into the dairy farming, and I decided to add this one so that at least you can look at it from that angle of the combination of the two or combination of the three. Now, this is the point. Make sure that at least, guys, you do something for your money. Don't let your money just rest in the bank doing nothing. That is how we progress. That's how we grow ourselves to the next level. And guess what? I always post a video each and every day. So if you don't want to miss any of my good video, do this. It doesn't cost you anything. Down below there on your right, there is a small button written subscribe. Hit that magical button, turn that notification bell, and don't forget, you can as well grab my number from the description of this specific video. Give me a call pertaining to investment. For now, it's a goodbye. See ya.